cinema cultists. This is the real king of cinema, Justin Morales. It is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to the two people that follow this channel. I've had a pretty busy week, and I haven't been. I've been meaning to do this video all week now, but last Thursday, I went to attend a screening of The Room. It was a double feature of The Room and Tommy Wiseau's new movie, Big Shark, and it was hosted by Greg Sestero, and that was such a blast. I met Greg, and I got to tell him, that The Disaster Artist is one of the most relatable works of literature I ever read, alongside The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. He seemed really touched, and he's such a nice guy. If you guys never met him at screening or a convention, a very humble person. He signed my copy of the book, The Disaster Artist. He signed my Blu-ray copy of The Room, and then he had and he'd sign it for free. Anything that you bring him, he signs for free. I don't know if that applies to convention signings as well, where they have their managers and shit. But I also bought some merchandise from him, the paperback printing of The Room screenplay, the VHS of The Room, and his Blu-ray of his new movie. I believe the name of it off the top of my head was Miracle Valley. It's the horror film that he just directed. I haven't seen it yet. But he was really nice, really cool. Like, he hung out, it wasn't even just like a signing, you go up to him, or whatever. He was like literally just hanging out all night with us, and that was a blast. This was out in Huntington, Long Island, at the Cinema Arts Center, which is one of my favorite movie theaters, personally. And I haven't been to an event like that in a long time, and that was just really exciting. So, of course, we all know The Room. It's hilarious. I'd never watched it in a theater before. It's already hilarious. You watch it on your own, of course, and, it's got its memes, but seeing it in a theater with other people, shouting out water whenever water shows up on screen, throwing spoons, it's fucking hilarious. And then I decided to stay for Big Shark, and I do not regret it. How do you review something like this from Tommy Wiseau? I mean, if you know The Room, you could probably have an idea of what to expect. You would think that this guy's life story has become a major Hollywood motion picture, directed and starring James Franco. So maybe he's made some connections to make a quality picture. You would think, right? No, but it's pretty much everything you'd want it to be. So the story is, Tommy is one of three firefighters, celebrated hero firefighters in New Orleans, and their next task is to take on a 35-foot shark that swims on land. Whenever it comes near, suddenly the streets are flooded with shittily composited CGI water, followed by the shitty CGI shark, and it eats people. The first time you see the shark, it's the funniest thing. The sound mix is, I've heard better sound mixes in freshman student films. It'll go really quiet, then it'll be really loud, and the quality of the recording isn't that great. There's a lot of very reverberated, so I wasn't even sure if they were really using a boom sometimes, or I think, if I remember, there was one part where the two guys hug, and all the sound turns muffled, so they must have had lapel mics. So it kind of varied between, some scenes had decently recorded sounds. Other time it was kind of shitty. There was a lot of improvisation, and a lot of the times, especially Tommy talks over the other actors, which is, because of course he does. But there's a method to his madness. I was reading that he kind of wanted to do the opposite of what he did with The Room. Like, The Room had a lot of bad ADR dubbing. This time he wanted to use pretty much all of the live sounds, for better or for worse. There's definitely more of a self-awareness with this one. Like, it's definitely intended to make you laugh. It's definitely intended for these screenings of The Room with the audience participation, riffing. I mean, every time we shouted "water, water," uh, for the room, we were doing that for Big Shark, and there's a lot of water in this one. Okay, so is it better than the room? Is it worse than the room? It's not as memorable as the room. It is. You're not gonna be bored. It's hilarious. So based on that scale, it's two thumbs up. Okay, that shit was too funny. I can't wait for the Blu-ray release, maybe a 4K release. Although I don't see it getting an HDR release. I mean, the color grade, everything was just kind of crushed and like super juiced. There's no subtlety there. The resolution wasn't the best. It seemed like it was mostly shot probably on like a cheap DSLR camera. But I highly recommend it. Preferably see it in a movie theater. Your reactions, you want to experience the everyone else's reaction at seeing the shark for the first time. It's fucking hilarious.